You have to be on the middle, this one.
This one
between
should
of
be in the
these two
center of the
magnets.
two, and bear in mind when the gate is closing, this one will go past the reed switch. We're looking at anything below 15 millimeter when this one passes across. This is what I mean. So when you put it on manual, so you manual release it, you see the first one goes past there. It should be at least 15 millimeters or less. Anything more than that, you're gonna get the false reading when it comes to the closing monitoring. Okay.
So when we do the programming, we have to believe like this on this.
It should be like this.
Full
Fully
closes,
closed,
yeah.
and then you mount your magnet like this.
The magnet,
Okay.
the sensor needs to be in the center.
Yes, it should be in the center of the two. Very important. Okay.
Okay.
Has it got marks that must line up?
Not really, but as long as you see this one, it's in the
So if
center.
it's
of
like
the two.
one mil
The center of
either
these
side, it won't make a difference.
No, not really, not really.
Just the center of these two.
Yes, as long as you can see with your
So
eyes.
it's got a
yeah.
parameter
Yes.
of how many millimeters you said? 15.
Yeah, that's between this one and this one if it passes through like this.
Oh, when it-
so we're not looking at any gap more than this.
Oh,
so
okay.
once you can immediately put your two fingers like this, then we know that's too much.
It's not gonna be caged that, yeah.
It's not gonna be like reading accurately.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
So that's a very important thing. Your magnet actuator positioning, always make sure you push the gate fully closed position, then the reed switch center of the two. Okay. Okay, then if you come over here, just want to use this one as an example. This is what the guys normally do on our older products. Your magnet will always stay like this with the gate on the fully closed. So then, what they're always doing, if they see the gate is not fully closing, they tend to move the magnet forwards and backwards. And that's wrong on this specific product. We don't do that anymore. We're always gonna do the programming. The machine will stay like this. You're gonna see that during programming. The machine will stay like this. It will leave the gap over there. But then if you go to programming, you go to your menu, you set the positive close mode on, then it will always go. Then it pushes up against the post. Okay. And then on this control card, this specific one, I set it off. Just to show you guys how is it going to behave without the positive close mode. We've got some other control cards that are still with the distributors like Regal and all the other ones that you can think of. That's got the older software. The positive close mode, you need to set it on yourself. Whereas on the current software with this type of the fuse, the 30 amps one, it always comes pre-programmed positive close mode on, so that it's avoiding you guys to have issues. Okay. So if you see that, you do your programming, you start to operate the machine, it leaves a gap, you're gonna go to programming menu, you set on the positive close mode. I will go to that session as well with you guys now. Okay. Then the next thing, this is our reader. So the control card takes the number of revolutions to count the two things on your rack using the magnet. So that makes it very impossible for you to do the programming holding the card on your hand. You need to make sure that it is fastening and stable on its original position. Because when you do this, you're gonna see the LED is flashing, so it starts counting. So the moment it goes further, then you cannot read anymore. Okay? Yes. Very important. These two, it's for your auxiliary fuse. That's a 5 amp. So that's the maximum that you can go to onto your auxiliary. Okay? And then this one, it's your spare motor fuse. It's a 30 amp. You're gonna see on the other ones, it's got the yellow ones. So those are older versions. It's still on 25 amp, whereas the current one, it's on 30 amps. Okay, obviously we have improved the product to try and accommodate the other errors that we have seen happening on site. Okay.
And this one, what is this one? That one.
Okay. I forgot to bring this unit. Okay, this unit over here, it's an interface where you've got the allowance. Let's say you've got the complex with 80 remotes or anything where you cannot get everyone at the same time. The control card goes faulty. It doesn't read the motor circuit or so. You come with the new control card, you plug in that specific unit. It's just a small unit. It's like the normal receiver on our range. Costly wise, it's not even 700 rand. You plug it in, you grab all the information when it comes to the remote EEPROM, then you throw onto the next control card, then you can leave. So that makes your life very easy. You go to site, the control card is faulty, the people are out, they come back, then in the afternoon, they just press the remote, they don't even know that you were there.
No, that's good for you.
Yes. So you don't have to get everyone so that you can program the remote, because I believe all of you guys will agree with me. If you've got 100 complexes to get, 100 houses in the single complex, to get all those people at the same time, it's not possible. Okay, so we've got that interface that can help you with that. Okay.
All right. Good.
Okay. Obviously, that's your motor brushes. You guys know that. Your motor oil goes in there.
Do we pour the oil ourselves or it comes factory poured?
No. The oil will always be in the box. Once the machine is installed, remember, during transit, the machine can go either up or down, but once the machine is installed, that's when you've got the option of opening there, then you can put the oil. Otherwise, if you turn it up and down, the oil can go to a different place where it's not allowed to go to. Okay? So then that's your manual release key. If you do this, your motor is released. Okay? You go there.
Turn the key again. Turn the key again.
You go there, your motor is locked. Okay? Okay, then now, I want to go to the power supply section. Okay? This type of power supply with the red and black, it's a 600, drive 600. If it's a drive 500, you're going to get the smaller transformer, not the power supply anymore, but the transformer. So the transformer, what it does, it will always supply the voltage to the control card, then the control card generates the charging rate to the battery. Okay? Then you're only gonna rely on your battery for operation. With the 600 on this AC/DC power supply, you've got the option of running your machine through AC and you throw away your battery. You're only gonna come back to your battery when the mains are off. Okay? So the 500 and the 600, that's the main difference.
So that small one for transformer is is it a replacement or is it for 500?
No, it's not the replacement. It's just the 500,
Or it comes with a 500?
Yeah, that's a 500, yes. Okay.
So, but I have an option to upgrade the 500 with this one for.
You can just grab the power supply. If you disconnect over here, you grab your power supply, then you put another power supply, then you go to 600.
Okay.
I don't know if you guys are aware of our older versions, the slide are the green and the maroon cover. So that's same difference. The maroon cover, you can run it without the battery as long as you've got mains, whereas the green one, you rely on your battery. Yes. So that's
off the battery.
Yes. So basically, maybe for your quick knowledge, or maybe just to understand it easily, your 500 is your green cover, just a different version on the control card, and then the 600 is your red cover.
Just like a sticky.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Questions so far?
So good.
Yeah.
Okay. And then now, our machine is using one magnet only on the closed position as a limit switch. When you do your programming, you put your gauge on a halfway position, you push it to the fully closed position by an arrow on your programming. Then when it's opening, it will tell you, press the square button to land the opening. So that means at the required position on opening state, you press the square button, then the motor will stop turning. You can fine adjust, then you save that specific position, then it starts closing. It will always remember that position as a closing section. Remember, when, let's say, you put the machine on a release, when you engage it again, it will always look for the closed limit. Then it's going to go to the magnet. Then it will know, going backwards, how many cycles that it should do. So it doesn't work with the end stopper at the open position. but you set the opening length through your programming. Whereas you still need that just for your safety contact. It's not like you need to use that one all the time. Maybe you leave this much of a gap so that if anything goes wrong, then you're gonna have a safety on your gate.
And another thing, if you're putting for the steel rake, then these come with the bracket for the welding for the on the steel rake, or
On the steel rack or our magnet, there is a unit that we call a steel adapter. It's a steel rack adapter clamp. You mount it over here. It makes your magnet like work very easily, because if you look at this portion here, it's exactly the size of the steel rack. This length here.
yeah.
So you push it in there, then you just put that clamp. Sorry. You push it in there, and then you just use that clamp, then it's gonna fasten it like stable at all times. It will never move. And also, on a steel rack, once you choose to use that product, you will never go wrong when it comes to the positioning distance was to the yes. It will always there, and it will never move. Okay. I've seen most of the times when the guys are using the nylon rack, instead of mounting this magnet over here, because this is easy, you just remove the screw,
Yeah.
you put this one in, then it's got this holder in, then you put the screw all the way in. The guys tend not to use this one, but they push it against
To here.
this angle iron side where the case is. So chances are, once you move away from your pinion there,
Yeah.
then you're not gonna have the accurate distance. Then problems every time when it goes to closing.
It was malfunction.
Yes. Closing on collision mode, sometimes it doesn't recognize, then it's always gonna say manual release, manual release. Then the guys will tend to cut these wires and put some sort of a wire there to make sure that the release it's not disturbed. Whereas the machine doesn't say that. It's basically tell you manual release the gate, check for the fault, then you can engage. Okay. Can we continue?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, now let's go to the menu then. Are we fine now?
Yeah.
Okay, let's get two guys there, then I can go to the last machine. So we're not gonna do the settings yet. I just want to explain the menu, what means what, okay?
Yes.
Okay?
Close the
Okay? Okay. No? One of you guys can go to the menu. I'll tell you what I'm pressing and then what needs to come up, okay?
Okay.
Okay, so if you go to your main menu, you press and hold the square button for 4 seconds. It goes to programming menu, enter. Okay?
Yes.
All right.
Okay, guys, let's do one thing at a time. Because I will explain each and every function, so if you go forward, then you might be in front of us, then you won't know where we are. So if you scroll right, you've got your runtime setup, and it says press the square to change.
Yes.
Okay? So that's where you do your limits. Okay?
Can't see anything.
So then you go right again, you got overload setting. That's where you do your sensitivity and your force setting. Simple as that. The higher the force, the lesser the sensitivity, and vice versa.
Okay. Yes.
Okay? Then you've got beam setup. Then it says press the square to change. That's where you enable and disable your beams.
Okay.
Okay? Then you've got BT mode setting. That's where you do your auto close, your condominium, and your pirate mode. Okay?
Yes.
So if you go to BT mode setting, it will always be on standard if the machine is coming from the factory.
Okay.
Okay? Standard means you press to open, you press to stop, you press to close. Okay? If you go to right, then you've got auto close setting. Okay? Auto close, you press to open, you press to stop. You can wait for auto close to close your gate, or you can either close it with your remote.
So we enter a BT mode or we don't enter BT mode because we went right.
We
find
enter
the
BT
distance.
mode. We enter BT mode.
Okay.
Okay?
On
Are we still together, guys?
Yes.
Are we still together? The other team doesn't reply. Are we still together?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay? So then you've got auto close. Auto close on this operator, you cannot do your auto close without the beams. You definitely need the beams for your auto close.
Okay.
Without beams, it does not.
No.
Without the beams, you cannot do your auto close. Very important. See? So the only function that you can get on your BT mode setting is your standard mode without your beams.
Standard mode.
After auto close, you go right, you've got condominium, your complex trigger. Also on your complex trigger, because you need the area to be monitored with your beams before it starts closing, you cannot do that without the beams. Do we all know what is a condominium?
No.
Condominium means you can only press to open, you cannot press to close. It's a safe trigger that we use on complexes because sometimes someone is in the middle of the gate trying to drive in or drive out, then the kids are playing with the remote, then that car might be banned. Whereas with the condominium trigger, it will always look for the open limit when the remote is pressed. Until the section is cleared, and then the beams tell the machine to close. Okay?
All right.
Then the next one is your Pyrex mode.
Direct mode.
Also Pyrex mode, without the beams, you cannot use the Pyrex mode. Because Pyrex mode is when the area is being monitored. Any disturbance, once the disturbance is cleared, then the gate will start closing immediately. Okay?
Okay.
Then you've got condo Pyrex. It's basically the combination of the two. Okay? On the normal Pyrex, you can close your gate and override the normal circuit. Whereas on condo, every time it gets the trigger, it will always look for the open.
It needs to look for the open mode.
It will look for the open limit every time the trigger is triggered.
So it won't close even if there's nothing that disturbs the beam.
Okay? Then you back to standard mode. So that's your PT mode. Okay?
Which one now? The standard mode.
No, don't exit. It's standard mode.
Questions when it comes to PT mode? I know that's quite a tricky one as well.
So standard mode when you don't have the beams.
Standard mode, it's a normal way you press to open, you press to stop, you press to close. With or without the beams, you can go standard mode. If you choose to use the standard mode with the beams, you can also do so. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, then now we go to the next one. So we exit once. Then we go right, we go to pedestrian mode settings.
Okay. Ped mode.
Pedestrian mode setting, that's where you do the opening length, adjusting from 500 to 200 to 250, and then also the auto close on the beams. So the auto close on the pedestrian opening as well. But then, you cannot get that auto close on the pedestrian opening if you don't have the beams. Very strict on this control card. You can only do such things of auto close if the beams are installed. Without the beams, the safety feature on this control card will say no. Okay? Then the next one is your receiver setup. Okay?
Receiver setup.
Okay, let's go into receiver setup with the square.
Okay. Quick
Once
learn.
you go in, it says quick learn.
Quick learn, yeah.
Okay? If you accept again, it says BT full opening. Okay, so
Yeah. BT full opening.
now it says BT full opening. That means that's where you do your remote if you want the full opening on the specific button. If you scroll right, it says pedestrian.
Yeah.
So it now goes to the second channel where you can only open for pedestrian. Okay?
So, question: I can buy the one channel remote for everyone, but set up some for full open, set up some for pedestrian open.
You're saying one channel, you mean one button?
One button remote, yeah.
Yes, you can do so.
So it does not limit me to say because I want to use the second channel, I need to have a 4-button remote.
No. It's not strict on that. I understand that sequence. No, it's not strict when it comes to that.
Okay.
So, meaningly on your 6-button remote. If you wanna use the red one for your full opening, or the green one for your pedestrian, or anything else, you can choose any button. It will be allocated to the specific channel.
That's for that specific remote.
Yes, yes.
Noted.
Okay?
The receiver is on board, right? It's not a separate.
It's an on-board receiver. You can see there's a small area on the side there. Next to that spare fuse, there's an antenna there. That's for your internal
And
receiver.
tell me, sometimes it happens that the onboard receiver goes faulty, but the whole board is still okay. Can you add an additional
No, I'm saying
receiver to this side?
But unfortunately, it's never been the case for us at this moment on this machine.
But it's got a
Doesn't get
12
any-
supply common, we show.
There is.
Yeah, we show common
There is your
trigger.
ground. There is your ground. There is your BT for your trigger.
So BT is trigger.
Yes, that's your button trigger, your BT.
Button.
Road, so that the gate will open and the garage will open at the same time. Then he buys the 3-channel receiver. You say no. We go a single channel receiver, then we go different buttons. Or we can go a single channel receiver, then we go same button. So you can press one button and trigger three single channel receivers. But if you go with a 3-channel, that's not gonna work for you. Okay. But in case the customer has got this machine and he's got our DC Blue advanced operator as well, you can do the same button in both machines. There's no problem on that. So if he's got our drive series and he's got our DC Blue advanced operator inside and he wants to use the same button, you program the same button onto the garage, you program the, but then be strict on your customer. He must only use that button when is aware of what's happening on the station. Otherwise, problems might start to happen. Someone is busy on the gate, you want to do something on your garage open, then the problem starts.
It's going to open both.
So
somebody opened the gate and you want to exit the garage, and then that person is
yes,
in the middle of the
yes,
gate, then
yes,
you will close.
yes.
You hit the car.
So kind of features in most cases are main menu. Sorry, go back to that menu again on the quick lane. So once you're into quick lane, you've got your full opening, you've got pedestrian, then you've got auxiliary relay. Auxiliary relay, it's that portion of the PC board where it's got the white connector block.
Okay, yes.
Oh, this one.
The white connector block,
Auxiliary.
if you go to the main menu, okay, what does the PC board say then?
Pedestrian,
Pedestrian, scroll right once,
right?
then it should be on auxiliary. Auxiliary relay, on your white connector block where I said it's only 5M max, that's where you can now do your extra operations like your external light, your mag lock, or your striker lock, or anything that you want to do, even with or without the gate on operation, because you program the button specifically on this channel of the auxiliary input. So if you choose to trigger that option without the gate on operation, you've got that option as well.
Button 6, if I want to trigger.
This is normally open, normally close and come.
So passenger is
It's a relay. So here we can add another receiver as well if I.
Yes, so using this one.
Oh, okay.
Yes, that's your auxiliary.
So here we can add the receiver, and you can take the power from here for the receiver.
It's not even 10 minutes. I'm talking practice page. So we need to finish at least by 22 or 11:30. Okay.
We can go a little bit over. We started a little bit late, but we won't go over too much. I'm just be mindful of the time now.
Okay. So I will try to cover all the most important points. So if I'm missing something, you guys can just contact me. Okay. Okay.
Have you got cards?
Not yet. But my number is 078.
He's gonna take it after.
We heard that there's a competition on our business cards. don't have, so.
078.
078
803.
803.
Okay.
My name is NHHI.
M
078.
N for Nolly, A for Apple, T for Tom, H for house, I for India.
It says 078.
078 803 9242.
9242.
Okay.
Mati, India.
Okay. Alright, then the next channel you've got holiday lockout. On the same section where it says auxiliary, the next one says holiday lockout.
Holiday lockout, yes.
Yes. Okay. Then we can exit there.
Yeah, exit.
Then we go to the next function.
Next one, this one.
Advanced menu.
Yeah. Advanced learn.
Advanced lane.
Advanced
Exit.
learn.
Exit.
Oh,
This
we must
one I'm not
exit
gonna cover,
twice.
It's going to take more time first. Go back to main menu, then scroll right, it goes advanced menu. Press square to change.
Advanced menu, yeah.
Okay, you press square to change, it says scroll distance.
Scroll distance.
We all know what scroll distance.
Where?
Let's just slow down before the limit. Either open or close.
Close, yeah.
So
Okay,
whatever you do on opening, it's going to happen on close as well. Okay?
Advanced menu.
Then you go right again, you've got positive close mode. Positive close mode, that's a feature that I explained. You don't have to move your magnet anymore. As long as the magnet was installed correctly in the first place, you just do a positive close mode, then you get the gap closed. Done. You just enable it, and you've got a couple of levels there. You're obviously going to look at your gauge. How hard is it closing? Then you can adjust it. You've got level 1, 2, 3, up to 5. Okay? But remember, positive close mode, those levels, when the gauge is closing, the positive close mode tend to be some part of a force as well. So that means you cannot go the higher positive close mode whereas you've got the lesser force. Because the gauge will go to collision mode. So either way you need to adjust them accordingly. It's just like when you've got the 8 meter gauge, you don't want the crawling of 2 meters because it's going to take longer for the gauge to finish closing or finish opening. But at the end of the day, try to make sure that whatever you do on the control card to adjust the speed and also the crawling, it accommodates the weight of the gauge through the gearbox, because otherwise it will damage the gearbox.
So you don't need a longer crawl mode. You need a shorter crawl mode.
It will depend, as I'm saying, it will depend. Remember, you don't want to drive 60 on the highway, whereas you don't want to drive 160 on the suburbs. Because you need time for your brakes. Okay? Then the next one is your auxiliary setup. As I said, that's where you do your setting for your light, your striker lock, your macro. When you go in there, it's going to give you those options. Okay? Then the next one is the power settings. Power settings, it's the charger switching on and off, and your AC monitoring switching on and off. Okay? Then you've got your controller setup. Controller setup, that's where you can enable and disable any input over here. When it comes to BT, your loop, your pedestrian opening. So if you choose to go with the internal receiver, you can disable all the other things and then you leave only the remote to operate your gate.
Okay.
Okay? So that's to avoid the guys lifting the cover, pressing the button, then the gate starts opening. Okay? So then the next one is your controller info. I would like us to go deep onto controller info, then press square to enter. On your controller info, you've got your serial number. We can go over that one. You've got your cycle count. Can you see that? Are we together, guys?
Yes, yes.
Cycle count is number of operations. So if you've got 10, then it means you've got 5 openings and 5 closings.
Do we enter?
No, on cycle count, don't enter. But if you enter there, if it gives you 10, then it means you've got...
It opened 10 times.
It opened and closed 10 times. So in 10 complete cycles. The next one is your last run log. You go go to a place, they're telling you they just put it on manual. If it stops working, you go to the alarm block, then it's going to tell you what was the last problem on it.
Cycle count.
Okay, you don't assume. The control card will tell you. If the gate was stalled for some reason, opening or closing, or it bumped something, the logs will tell you. Each information that will come as a log, it means something.
This one.
So once you get that, you can quickly give me a call, then I'll tell you, look at this. Okay? Then you've got your fault log. If you go to fault log, when you enter it, with the gate on operation, it saves up to 30 logs. So that's more than enough for you to know if they're saying the gate is intermittent. You look at the most appearing fault. Open stall, close stall, open stall, close stall, no limit found. It will tell you that. Once it goes no limit found, then you know the magnet positioning is not that correct. So each and everything that's going to appear there, it will tell you what's happening with the gate. Okay? The next one is your trigger logs. The gate opens, the customer calls you. This gate just opens on its own. You go in there, you find that there's remote number 5, while the customer has got only 3 remotes. Where are the other remotes coming from? You take the remotes that are there with the customers, you check their locations, then you go to the receiver, you delete all those ones that are not appearing to be the customer's ones. Because anything could have been happened when they were doing programming, someone is operating the pump or the alarm system, then the gate will start open every time that guy is arming the alarm system, then the gate will open on its own. Okay. Last one, overload info, it will tell you as well. Okay. Then the firmware version, firmware update, hardware version, serial numbers back to the main menu. Okay. Then you can exit. Your IEC standard, you don't need that one that much. Then you've got your reset and restore. Okay. I want us to quickly go back to the controller setup. If you go
Factory settings.
yes, factory settings. Yes.
How is it?
Controller setup.
Advanced menu, controller setup.
Yes.
We enter.
Then we enter on controller setup. You've got the LCD contrast adjustment, that's your backlight. Go left, you've got the pin code setup. The pin code setup is whereby you've got the function of locking the PC board onto the specific installer code, whereby no one will do programming without that entrance code. Okay.
I think we'll get lost here.
Controller
So what is the PC board saying?
advanced menu.
Advanced menu. Press okay. Advanced menu. Then what is the sub menu?
Underneath what is it saying?
What is the sub menu? Okay. Let me quickly catch up with you guys. So programming. Then you go controller setup. Then you've got your LCD contrast adjustment. Okay. Okay.
Okay.
So your pin code, it's like your installer code on your alarm panel. If I can put it the simplest way. That's the simplest way. Okay. Yes. Okay. You've got your parent quick close. You've got your wired loop. That's where you enable and disable. Those are the inputs that are said you can enable and disable them. Okay, your BT. You've got your on-board BT as well. That's the button on the board to open and close the gate when you're testing. You can also enable and disable that one to avoid the criminals not to open the cover and just open the gate. Very important this function, because once you set the alarm with your transmitter and your receiver, if this button is being pressed, it will not recognize it as a criminal offense on it. So it is important that you switch it off if you're using this one. Okay? Yes. Then you've got your alarm setup. That's where you enable and disable the alarm output.
This one.
Yes. Okay? Number of limits. Remember on the older 8500 we used to have 2 magnets, one on opening, one on closing. Aside on this one you've got only one, so you're obviously going to go to number of limits. If you see it doesn't give you the square to learn the opening. So if it doesn't stop on opening when you press the square, Then it means it's on dual, you need to change that one to single.
To single.
Okay? Then you back to LCD constant. Okay?
Can you explain more about number of limits?
Number of limits, it's number of your magnet. Remember I said on this control card you've got the option of stopping it and set the opening limit through programming. That's what we're going to do now. So you don't need the second magnet. Yes.
It's already set at
Okay.
standard. Yeah.
Okay, so now,
Question. When we buy the Drive 600 or Drive 500, it comes from the factory set up for one limit.
it comes on single, yes. But you remember, if they call you on site, you don't know if you are the first person to attend that unit.
Okay.
So if you're struggling with that, those are things that you need to look at. Okay? I want to quickly show these guys how to run the limit settings. Then I'll go to the next guys. Then I'll go to the next one. Then I'll come back to the other one for the remote. Then I'll go to the next one. Then I'll go to the last one. Just for us to be quicker. Okay? Okay? Let me start with these guys first. I will come to you now.
So we can exit the.
You can exit, go back to the main screen. Okay?
That's the main
Okay,
screen.
so to do your limit, you manually release your gate. Halfway position. Halfway position. You lock your gate. You go into programming.
Close the gate all the way tight.
Yes.
Make sure the center
Go
magnet
to right hand
is
center.
in the center
Say
of
square.
that.
And it says close.
More or less,
Set
doesn't
the
have to be
position.
accurate.
Say that's right.
Okay,
Starts
now we're going to
closing.
start
All
programming. Start the gate again halfway.
Halfway, yes.
Close it. Just pull the gate until you hear the key.
Okay.
So for instance,
Otherwise, when it starts to run, it's going to go.
You connect the wires up.
Going to programming.
The motor wires was wrong up. And as you press that thing, it opens and it doesn't close.
It's going to say limit set.
so then you just need to go back and make sure that we are good.
So you can't change it.
Ask me which direction does the gate have
Not
to close.
not to the control.
If the machine was that side,
You quickly abort it.
Not that
now
it is
it's
going to
left,
happen,
it
but
goes closed to
sometimes
the
it
right.
can.
Tell it
In that case,
the arrow points which way is closed.
It all depends where you understand.
It says the magnet.
Which
You start to reopen.
Okay.
More or less.
Okay.
More or less, where you want the open position to be. Stop
Say
on
close.
Stop it, okay.
See now
Then
when
you can
when it's
still adjust
opening,
it.
Oh,
you
okay.
say press
It's more or less. You don't have to rush.
Say
More or
press
less.
the square to let
When you are happy with the
so you
open
can
position,
stop, then you can
just
find
press
adjust.
square again.
Once you go accept, then it's going to go to the close. Just very
Then it's
easy.
Stop short, remember what we said about the
Yes,
positive
yes.
close.
Okay, you go to programming.
See what happened to this one. For some reason it didn't.
And it says okay, then it says set close, that means you say that's right.
Halfway,
Okay, it's
into
opening.
programming.
Required position, press the square, you can find adjust.
But if you
Once to
don't
the
press
right,
it, you can run out of
Press
here.
enter.
Yes.
The direction
Or
you want
close
to
and
close.
easy.
Will close.
Yes, you definitely need to stop it.
Otherwise,
Otherwise it's gonna go all the way to the X
See the
stop.
magnet?
And then once it's on the X stop, it's gonna give you
Stop
an
it
code
more or less
of
where we are happy.
So you have to stop it.
You would definitely have to.
Okay.
That's why I said you need to leave it.
So actually, you don't